Hi, my name is Felipa. Welcome to the channel Awkward, where I provide parents with the encouragement, knowledge, and tools to give their children mindful sexual education. With this channel, I'm hoping to help you clarify all the awkward questions that your kids have about bodies, feelings, and sex. Today's topic is why kids touch their genitals, so why kids touch their private parts. First, I'd like to say that it is perfectly normal and expected and healthy that children touch their genitals. So this starts way before children are actually born. So in utero, we have proof through ultrasounds that kids already touch their genitals. You can see that boys already have erections as well in utero. So when children are born, their genitals are already fully formed. They're able to feel sensations and they react to stimuli. So this is why sometimes when you are changing your kid's diaper, you may notice that they get an erection or there is vaginal lubrication. And this is a perfectly normal and physiological response to you're touching their genitals. And this is nothing to worry about. It shows that their sexual organs are working the way they should. So it is perfectly normal that when you change diaper or when you bathe your child that they try to reach for their genitals. They do this because it is just another part of their body, so there is nothing wrong with it. If you see that for example the child is pulling their penis really hard, you just make sure that they're not doing it in a way that it hurts them. Otherwise, it's perfectly normal. It is also normal that girls will also try to put their fingers inside the vagina, and this is also perfectly normal. Just make sure that they are not hurting themselves when they do this. So kids start this genital manipulation very early, but by the age of around 2, when they start being potty trained, kids have access to this body part that until now has been concealed and hidden by a diaper, so they couldn't access this body part. So it's only normal that when you take off the diaper that they touch themselves, that they have a feeling of relief, a bit like how women like to take their bra off when they come home. It's the same sensation. Here it's important to remind parents that children do not have sex hormones, so they do not feel a sexual pleasure. I mean, they have a very, very small amount of sex hormones that influences their sex, which genitals they have. But they do not have sexual hormones that allow them to feel sexual excitement or arousal, right? So the feeling that children get when they touch their genitals is of something nice. It's like a soothing feeling. It is a physiological sensory response. So between the ages of 2 to around 6, it is very common that children touch their genitals, especially when they're trying to concentrate, when they're at school, or when they're bored, or watching cartoons, or story time, bedtime, or when they just wake up. And here, what you want to do is you want to start talking to them about what they are doing. So don't shame your child. Do not reprimand them, because this what it does is it associates a negative reaction to these body parts, and we don't want that, because it does interfere negatively with the healthy development of your child's sexuality and their psychosexual development. So if you see that your child is touching their genitals, if you are in a public place where you can't talk to them and explain to them, you what you want to do is you want to redirect their attention with a toy or with something so that they stop. So the conversation you want to have with your kid will include validating their feeling. So there's no use in saying that there's no use in pretending that this action that they're taking does not result in a pleasant feeling. They know it, they are experiencing it, and that's why they continue doing it. So you acknowledge the feeling and you say something like, oh, I noticed that you're touching yourself on your, you're touching your penis or you're touching your vulva, and it's perfectly okay, but you have to keep in mind that this you can only do when we are in private, and we can't do this in public. You shouldn't do it at school, and also this is nothing for you to be embarrassed about, and this is perfectly normal, and I understand that it feels good when you touch your penis or your vulva, but you also have to keep in mind that this is a very sensitive part of the body, and you cannot touch your vulva or your penis with your hands when they're dirty. So you always have to have clean hands. It's the same thing as, imagine touching your eyeballs. You have to do it with clean hands and very gently, because it's such a sensitive part of the body. So it's the same thing when you touch your genitals. They're very sensitive, so you should be careful not to hurt them. And these are the conversations that you can have with your child. It is a good time to also start talking about the difference between private and public behavior. We have a video about that, you can look at it. And we have to start implementing these concepts so that people understand, kids understand the difference. And also it's also important that you mention that nobody can touch them like that, not even mommy or daddy. And here you may ask, oh, but what if we were the ones cleaning them and so on? That is true. A hygiene touch is completely different from the touch that they're doing to themselves and the sensation that they get when they do it. So this is the kind of touch that not even you as a parent should do. So it is important for kids to be able to differentiate between the different sensations of the body and to understand how some things are appropriate and others are not. So here you want to say nobody can touch you the way you are touching yourself right now. And if somebody ever touches you in that way, I'd like you to tell me. And it's not something that you should be worried about or scared about telling me, but if somebody ever touches you in that way or tries to touch your genitals, you know that what you should do is to say no, scream, run, and tell an adult you trust. But also understand that if you're not able to say no or to scream or to run, it's also okay, and it's not your fault, because sometimes when we are very scared, our body reacts in a way that does not match the way we are thinking. So we may want to run away and not be there and for that thing not to happen, but our body may just freeze, and this is perfectly okay, and nobody is to blame. But it is important that you tell me or an adult you trust what has happened, and I will believe you, and everything will be okay, and I will protect you. So it is perfectly normal that kids touch themselves in their genitals. What is not common, or it is atypical behavior, is that if they do this in a compulsive way, which is completely different from just doing it in when they're bored or tired or concentrating. We're talking about kids who stop playing to masturbate, or who are not able to stop masturbating even when it is hurting their bodies. So this is completely different behavior. it is expected that kids will touch themselves, although you will notice that from the age of about 6, their sexual energy will be redirected towards social activities, so making friends. So it's not like they will stop touching their genitals, but they will do it less often and they will know to do it more privately. I hope you enjoyed this video, so drop me a like, a comment if you are unsure about anything, subscribe and share.